Imagine vanishing without a trace. Gone, no clues, no answers. History is full of disappearances so bizarre they defy explanation. Were they tragic accidents, government cover-ups, or something supernatural? Today, we're diving into the most mysterious vanishings ever. Stick around. Some of these cases are so eerie, they might just keep you up at night. And if you love exploring the unexplained, like, share, and subscribe to uncover more chilling mysteries. Welcome to Earth and Beyond. The bizarre case of the Dyatlov Pass incident. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers ventured into the Ural Mountains on what should have been a routine expedition. Days later, they were all dead, under circumstances so chilling that even experts are still baffled. When rescuers found their camp, the hikers' tent had been slashed open from the inside, as if they had fled in terror. Their bodies were scattered across the snow, some barely clothed in sub-zero temperatures. But the most disturbing details? Some had massive internal injuries with no external wounds, others had traces of radiation, and one was missing her tongue. Theories have swirled for decades. Was it an avalanche? Some say yes, but the injuries don't fully match. Others believe they stumbled upon a secret Soviet military experiment, leading to their gruesome fate. Then there are the more bizarre explanations: inhuman forces, infrasound-induced panic, or even extraterrestrials. In 2019, a Russian investigation concluded an avalanche was to blame. But many remain unconvinced, pointing out that the injuries were unlike any standard avalanche victim. So what really happened that night? Did they encounter something beyond our understanding? Drop your theories in the comments. Amelia Earhart, lost in the Pacific. In 1937, Amelia Earhart, the world's most famous aviator, set out to become the first woman to fly around the world. With her navigator Fred Noonan, she successfully covered over 22,000 miles. But just before completing the journey, something went terribly wrong. On July 2nd, Earhart's plane approached Howland Island, a tiny speck in the Pacific where she was supposed to refuel. But as she neared the island, her radio messages became frantic. She reported low fuel, poor visibility, and an inability to locate the island. Then, silence. A massive search began, one of the largest in history, covering 250,000 square miles of ocean. But not a single trace of her plane was ever officially found. What really happened? The most accepted theory is that she ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean. Others believe she landed on Nikumaroro Island, where later discoveries of aircraft debris and human bones suggest a possible connection. Some think she was captured by the Japanese, suspected of being a spy. And then there's the wildest theory, that she faked her death and lived under a new identity. In recent years, sonar images, deep-sea scans, and newly uncovered documents have reignited the search, but the mystery remains unsolved. D.B. Cooper, the infamous skyjacker. On November 24, 1971, a man in a suit and sunglasses boarded a Northwest Orient Airlines flight from Portland to Seattle. He handed a note to the flight attendant. It was a hijacking threat. Calm and composed, he claimed to have a bomb in his briefcase and demanded $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. When the plane landed in Seattle, authorities met his demands and he released the passengers. Then, with only the flight crew remaining, he ordered the pilots to take off again, heading toward Mexico. But somewhere over the Pacific Northwest, he did the unthinkable. He jumped. With the ransom money strapped to his body, D.B. Cooper parachuted into the freezing wilderness below and vanished. Despite an FBI manhunt lasting 45 years, no one was ever arrested. No body, no parachute, no clear identity. The only clue: a small portion of the ransom money was found buried near a river in 1980. So, who was he? Some believe he was an ex-military paratrooper who pulled off the perfect crime. Others think he never survived the jump, lost forever in the dense forests of Washington. Some even suspect he was a rogue CIA agent protected by the government. To this day, D.B. Cooper's identity and fate remain one of the greatest mysteries in American crime history. Wait, before we continue, I need to ask you something. If you've made it this far, you clearly love mind-blowing mysteries, so why not join the adventure? Hit that subscribe button right now because trust me, the next secrets we're about to uncover will shock you even more. The USS Cyclops, the Bermuda Triangle's greatest mystery. In 1918, the USS Cyclops, a 542-foot-long Navy cargo ship, set sail from Barbados to Baltimore, carrying 306 crew members and a full load of manganese ore. It was supposed to be a routine voyage. Instead, it vanished without a trace. There was no distress signal, no wreckage, no survivors. The entire ship simply disappeared, making it one of the largest non-combat losses of life in US Navy history. So what happened? Some say it was a freak storm or a rogue wave, powerful enough to drag the massive ship to the ocean floor. Others suggest it was enemy sabotage. After all, World War I was still raging and German U-boats were active. But there's one theory that stands out. The ship vanished inside the Bermuda Triangle, a region infamous for unexplained disappearances. Adding to the mystery, two of the Cyclops' sister ships, the Proteus and the Nereus, vanished under eerily similar circumstances years later, both in the Bermuda Triangle. Coincidence or proof of a sinister force at play? Over a century later, not a single piece of the USS Cyclops has ever been found. The ocean has kept its secrets well. The vanishing of the Sodder children. On Christmas Eve 1945, a fire broke out in the Sodder family home in West Virginia. George and Jenny Sodder managed to escape with 4 of their children, but their other 5 children were trapped inside. Or were they? As the fire raged, George tried to rescue them, but the house collapsed within 45 minutes. When the ashes cooled, authorities made a shocking discovery. There were no remains, no bones, no bodies, nothing. Experts insisted the fire was hot enough to completely cremate the children, but many disagreed. Even house fires don't burn hot enough to destroy bones. Adding to the mystery, a strange phone call had come in just before the fire, and witnesses later reported seeing the children alive in a passing car that night. Theories exploded. Some believe the mafia kidnapped the children as revenge for George's outspoken political views. Others suspect child trafficking, or that someone intentionally set the fire to cover up a crime. Decades later, Jenny Sodder even received a mysterious photograph labeled Louis Sodder, showing a man who resembled her missing son. Despite multiple investigations, the Sodder children's fate remains unknown. Were they burned beyond recognition, or were they taken? And if so, by who? What do you think? A tragic fire or something far more sinister? Let us know in the comments. The ghost ship Mary Celeste. On December 4th, 1872, a British ship spotted the Mary Celeste drifting in the Atlantic Ocean. Everything on board was perfectly intact, except for one chilling detail. The entire crew was missing. The ship's cargo of alcohol barrels was untouched. The crew's belongings were still in their quarters. Even the captain's log had no sign of distress. Yet the lifeboat was gone, as if they had abandoned ship voluntarily. But why? Theories range from pirates to mutiny, but there were no signs of struggle or violence. Some believe the ship was caught in a waterspout, forcing the crew to flee, but then why didn't they return? Another theory suggests fumes from the alcohol cargo created an explosion scare, causing them to panic and abandon ship, only to perish at sea. Then there's the supernatural angle. Was the Mary Celeste a victim of sea monsters, alien abduction, or the Bermuda Triangle? Some even claim she was cursed, doomed to sail without a crew. Despite endless speculation, Not a single member of the Mary Celeste's crew was ever found. Their fate remains one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. The lost colony of Roanoke. In 1587, over 100 English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, hoping to establish a new colony in the New World. But when their leader, John White, returned from a supply trip 3 years later, he found something horrifying. Everyone was gone. There were no bodies, no signs of struggle, no evidence of an attack. The only clue? A single word, Croatoan, carved into a wooden post. What happened to the Roanoke settlers? Some believe they assimilated into local Native American tribes, especially the Croatoan people. Others think they were massacred by hostile tribes or Spanish forces. But if that were the case, where were the remains? Then there are the darker theories. A deadly plague wiped them out, or something supernatural was at play. Some even claim Roanoke is cursed, vanishing its inhabitants without a trace. To this day, archaeologists have found only small clues, European artifacts scattered in native villages, but nothing conclusive. The fate of the Roanoke colonists remains one of America's oldest and most haunting unsolved mysteries. The disappearance of Percy Fawcett in the Amazon. In 1925, legendary British explorer Percy Fawcett set out on a dangerous expedition into the Amazon jungle, searching for a lost civilization he called the City of Z. He was convinced that deep within the rainforest, an ancient and advanced society had once thrived. Then he vanished. No distress signals, no letters, no sign of him or his team ever again. Fawcett was an experienced explorer, yet something went terribly wrong. Did he and his crew fall victim to disease, starvation, or wild animals? Some believe they were killed by hostile tribes, though no confirmed remains have ever been found. Others suggest he chose to stay, abandoning civilization to live among the indigenous people. But here's where it gets even stranger. Over the years, multiple rescue missions were sent after him, and some of those searchers disappeared too. The mystery only deepened when researchers uncovered evidence that Fawcett may not have been wrong. In recent years, archaeologists have discovered traces of ancient cities hidden beneath the jungle, proof that a sophisticated society once existed there. Was Fawcett on the brink of an earth-shattering discovery? Almost a century later, Percy Fawcett's fate remains unknown. Was he simply lost to the jungle, or did he find something that was never meant to be uncovered? The Malaysian Airlines flight, MH370 mystery. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, heading for Beijing. It was a routine flight until it wasn't. Less than an hour in, the plane vanished from radar. No distress call, no explanation, just gone. At first, investigators thought it had crashed near its planned route, but satellite data revealed something shocking. The plane made an unexplained turn westward, flew for hours off course, and then vanished over the Indian Ocean. Despite the largest and most expensive search in aviation history, most of the wreckage has never been found. Theories flooded in. Did MH370 suffer a catastrophic mechanical failure? Was it hijacked? Some experts believe the pilot, Zahari Ahmad Shah, deliberately crashed the plane in an act of mass murder-suicide, but no hard evidence supports this. Others suspect a mid-air struggle, with someone taking control and steering the aircraft to its doom. Then there are the wilder theories, cyber hijacking, a secret military cover-up, or even a hidden landing. Some claim the debris was planted to mislead investigators, while others think the truth is being hidden from the public. Years later, only a handful of confirmed wreckage pieces have washed up on distant shores, leaving more questions than answers. With 239 passengers and crew lost, MH370 remains one of the most baffling aviation mysteries ever. Which of these disappearances do you think is the most mysterious, and why? Do you believe these cases have logical explanations, or is there something truly unexplainable going on? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching Earth and Beyond.